Hey my sugar bears, welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF. It's your host, J. Nicole. It's where I say stay bougie on them. It's me feeding you feminism for the soul. It's my soul food offering. It's where I apply pressure to issues by being critical and logical. Now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get to the commentary where I can guarantee you I will be doing too much because that's just me. And like Sheree said, who's gonna check me, boo?
Hey y'all, it's your girl J. Nicole. You are tuned in to the Bougie AF channel where I say stay bougie on them, and I'm serving feminism for the soul. Don't forget to check me out on them people's Instagram at OG_BougieAF. You can also check me out on them people's Twitter at I'm_Bougie_AF. You can also check me out on them people's TikTok at SheBougieAF. So listen, y'all, we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna talk about a little bit of Jason Whitlock discovering who Chlamydia Red is. So y'all, it's a lot going on here, and like I said, I'm having this love-hate relationship with Jason Whitlock in terms of his commentary and the things he talks about. I'll never fuck with what he's saying about with Deion Sanders, but a lot of the other shit really does a lot of time I agree with it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, and there's times I don't 100% agree with anybody, and I'm honest about that, and I call that out for what it is. But yeah, let's get into that. And I thought Jason Whitlock did a great job in majority of this video. Don't agree with none of the Deion Sanders slander, but I feel like I'm having this like love-hate relationship with Jason Whitlock and what's his name? O'Shea Duke Jackson, right? But I don't believe there's anybody on earth that I don't believe there's anybody on earth that I'm 100% agree on, right? Agree with. Nor do I think or believe should be expected that I agree with somebody or people 100%. And that's the reason why I stay away from that whole community and that group organization types of things, because I'm not losing my autonomy to think for myself, to believe for what I want. And I don't need anybody to try to tell me that I'm not being a team player because we're not all thinking the same. We're not all that is so crab in a barrel. That is so narrow. That is so short-sighted. And if I'm someone that is a great thinker and knows more, to limit myself or dim my light to make other people feel better about themselves, I'm just never going to do that. And I don't think it should be required, right? And if you truly believe iron sharpens iron, I'm just not quite sure why people are so comfortable with just being around people who are at their same level of the way they view things.
None. I can't meet anybody that thinks she's sexy. She's all tatted up. She's got tats on her face. Hood rat. That's all this is. That's all. Who decided that sexy red was the next big thing? China and TikTok. This whole rap thing is part of the idolatry and trick and blinding of, oh, rap it's black culture. And if you don't like rap, you don't like black. And so when it's wrapped in that idolatry of supporting your race and all those rappers and the gold chains and their values, overlook all of that. You're supporting the black thing. That's how, and so Deion has all the whole rap community, or a big person, Lil Wayne leading them out of the locker room, Keith Glock in the locker room, rapping to him, Master P on the sidelines, all of that. All it's on at Colorado. So what does Penn State turn around and do? Who's on Penn State's sideline this weekend? Sexy Red. Let's play the clip of Sexy Red on the Penn State sidelines, twerking and rapping. So play that again. I'm sorry, I want to play it again because it was for me initially, and I've seen this off show, but play it again. At the beginning, she's twerking and shaking her booty in front of another woman. And so when I'm telling you about this whole alphabet mafia agenda and how they're using the rappers to infiltrate and get your young kids all into the alphabet mafia agenda. It's Sexy Red. It's the rap world. It's P. Diddy. It's all the bisexual down low rappers and their music that's laced with alphabet mafia friendly lyrics.
Okay, I will say off bat, I did not
See,
agree.
James Franklin is sitting there.
I don't agree with this part in terms of equating Sexy Red bending over and another woman hitting her butt as part of the alphabet community shenanigans or programming. I've been in the club and shaking my ass and danced on my friends and all that shit. So I'd have never wanted to fuck my friends. So that's not true, right? I do think that sometimes, there's going to be some stretch and reach here, cousin stretch and reach here. But no, I don't think it's just simply that. That's something that women just do in general. So, like, men don't dance on other men. Like, straight men don't dance on other straight men. But straight women most definitely will dance on their friends. A lot of times, like, depending on how your relationship's set up, your man may not want you out in the club dancing on other men. He may be okay with you dancing with your friends, and that's that. And like I said, each his own. However your relationship is set up is how your relationship is set up. But I don't think it's an indicator of sexuality or someone's preference. To be honest with you, it's just dancing.
Penn State thinking, I got to compete with Dion. He's got all the. Let me bring Sexy Red to my sidelines and to my game. Let's let her do Ski Yee or whatever that song is. It's one of the most profane, nasty. It's typical. It's like WAP. It's like everything else coming out of the rap world. It's highly sexualized music. Highly, extremely profane. Leaves nothing to the imagination. Where did Sexy Red come from? Who decided this no talent hack? I have yet to meet one person that will say Sexy Red has any talent at all. None. I can't meet anybody that thinks she's sexy. She's all tatted up. She's got tats on her face. Hood rat. That's all this is. That's all. Who decided that Sexy Red was the next big thing? China and TikTok. That's who's putting Sexy Red on. Have y'all heard of the little girl Ice Spice? Ice Spice, another one put on by China. This is Ice Spice right here. Not gonna play the lyrics because I don't want, but this is Ice Spice, half naked. She's gonna be bending over, getting her booty slapped by other women here in this video. Yeah. Where do you think this sexualization and alphabet mafia agenda, where is it coming from? And why are we signing off on it? Why are we throwing all of our values out there? Oh, it's a black thing. It's an idolatry thing. They're famous. TikTok made them.
I will say that I do agree with him in terms of talent. I do not think people like a Sexy Red or a Chlamydia Red or Ice Spice, who else is rapping? I think Coyle Ray is talented dancing, engaging with people, but per se in terms of like rapping, I don't see like a pure talent there. Who else is actually out here right now? I don't see. More or less like, and I hate that people will try to make it seem like you're just hating on like younger people, because there are actually younger rappers and stuff that I really fuck with in their 20s that I really really fuck with, and I do try to highlight those people. I just ran across a girl named Libra. What's her name? Let me look her up. And I thought she was like super dope. Libra Jolie, I think she's dope. I still think Glorilla can rap. I think, of course, y'all know I'm fucking with Rocky Bad out of them people's Detroit. She's still young. I fuck with her and I like her. So it's not a young thing. It's just like, I just don't see the talent thing. The producers who are producing this music, I hope y'all don't like it. This is not the best show off of your skill sets. Like, I don't think anybody who's producing some of this music is going to go down in history and be remembered for producing this. Like it's really basic. It's really, really basic and mediocre. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But I totally 100% agree with what he's saying in terms of China. Chinese people don't have the same TikTok that we have. They have a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of things built into their algorithms so that they're not poisoning the minds of their children. And I think, we look at everything that China does and say it's very oppressive, and they are most definitely like ran by like a dictatorship type of authoritarian type of government. But at the same time, I think you can take some good things out of it, in terms of like them making sure they protect their children. And we've always, tried to protect our kids with things like PG-13s and, saying things aren't safe for children. It just seems like we're getting further and further away from it. And it seems as if, though, like if we're going to produce productive, non-violent, non-criminal children, there got to be some structure, some gatekeeping, some things that we have to keep in place so that we can kind of foster that type of environment for kids. And right now we're not doing that. And I think we really, really do have to get back to doing that. For me personally, being on the MBTA, seeing all these young kids, seeing them going to school in flip-flops, seeing some of them barely dress appropriately. That's not good, right? These kids have to go to work. And I know what you're saying. Oh, you're forcing it. No, I'm not forcing it. How you show up at school is also a part of like how you're going to show up at work, right? So when I'm at Dunkin' Donuts or I'm at McDonald's or I'm at any of these places and I'm going to counters and your kid is on the telephone looking at their phone and barely want to open their mouth when I approach to say, hi, how can I help you? All of that plays into that, right? All of that plays into that. So, yeah, if we're not preparing them to be professional, and they should be most definitely be professional with going to school and how they show up, then like we're failing these kids by not trying to put any type of discipline around them. Or y'all don't give a fuck because everything's going to be so automated in chat GPT and AI that your kids are barely going to be able to get some of these jobs any damn way, right? Are we just like giving up?
Them famous. China controlled TikTok. Ice Spice comes out of nowhere with some song called Munch that's popular over TikTok. Sexy Red comes out of nowhere with some song, Pound Town. My booty hole brown, my coochie pink. So primitive, so stupid, so immoral. It's like, how did we get here? What A&R is vetting these people? What record label is vetting these people? It's TikTok. China controlled TikTok. They don't play those videos in China. They don't allow it. They rig the algorithms in China so that their kids are seeing educational stuff that lifts them up. They rig the algorithms in America so that our kids are fed a steady diet of Ice Spice and Sexy Red. And so now because of TikTok, they're the next big thing. And because of TikTok, they get to be on the sidelines of major sporting events. We saw Sexy Red with Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets, the week before. Big gold chain, he's got his big gold chain. Who's injecting these values into us? China and TikTok. And why are we good with it? Because of our racial idolatry, our materialism, our idolatry of money. Oh, Sexy Red walks around with stacks of $100 bills up next to her ear. She's got gold chains on. She's got money. It must be good. This is what idolatry does. And this is why we have to take all of these celebrities off this pedestal and end our idolatry. Deion Sanders, I'm not sure if he knows what he's doing and what he represents. I'm not sure if he cares. But we have to take him off the pedestal, and I have to be allowed to talk about him and to explain to you what's going on, because it has real impact all the way down to our little kids. I want to show you, as we continue to mainstream a sexy red, and how China and TikTok and the people that want to see America fall and the people, I got to give you a global perspective. And that's why Royce and some of these other people are very important for the show. But China can't stand black people. Do they like elites? Can LeBron go over there and catch a bag? Yes. But do they like black people? No. Do they think we're animals and depraved and immoral? Yes. That's why they keep sending us and creating for us these idols of depravity, of immorality, of debauchery. That's why they keep creating them. It's like an assembly line. Little Nas X 1 week, Sexy Red the next, Ice Spice the week after that. Doja Cat, it's on a loop. And our idolatry blinds us. And so Sexy Red makes some of the most depraved, immoral music in the history of the so-called music industry. And I want to show you just how deep her hooks are in us. Let's play this.
All right, so before he plays this clip, I want to talk a little bit about that idolatry that he talked about in terms of money. And I've spoken about this previously in other videos, that the love of money and the value that people place on it is so great within the black community. It really causes people to overlook so much, and it's a problem in all communities. To be honest with you, it's a problem in all communities, but it's really, really, really a problem in our community, right? But I think an example of the idolatry and people overlooking certain bad character flaws within people has to be Donald Trump, right? I think because we thought what we've seen in terms of Trump Towers and his name and Atlantic City. We've seen his private jet. He, moves on across the country and stuff like that, that we automatically assigned him with being some type of financial guru, to the point he's writing books and talking about the art of the deal, which is now the art of the con. You know what I mean? And so he was pushed to the forefront as someone important because you just believed he had all this wealth. If you've been paying attention to what happened this week, a judge has came back and said he has been frauding the banks, the world, everybody, in terms of like what's his personal worth is in terms of his money, right? He's been lying about everything. And so what ended up happening, they have dissolved his businesses. He's no longer able to do business in New York City, right? They're actually going after his hotels. Anything that had a name, that has his name on it, it's literally coming down, right? And so I say all to say, we fell in and believed all of that was real because of that, right? And so when you had this disgusting person talking about grabbing women by the pee and these alleged, we had heard stories of him lying in the past, and Barbara Walters has an interview she did with him when she questioned him. There's been stories that have came out about him faking like reporters and all types of shit. But again, overlooked it, right? Because he had money, right? He was able to be around the who's. He was able to party and, the company you keep and all this other stuff. Like, he was able to sell that to everybody. So we bought into it. Now, the problem within the black community in terms of like idolatry and the money type of thing is that as much and as awful as Donald Trump is, he's not murdering he hasn't murdered anybody, right? He has screwed a lot of people over, claiming chapter and bankruptcy and screwing people out of paychecks and stuff. He's did all of that. He's not murdered anybody. He's not sold drugs to anybody. With that being said, he doesn't outly promote ignorance, right? So the problem that we're having is that we have a whole genre of music, right? That talks, and people talk about the violent crimes they have committed, right? People talk about selling drugs. People glamorize these same things that we would demonize in other people. And since they've been able to turn it into something profitable, we then all of a sudden think it makes sense that Lil Durk is meeting with mayors of Chicago, and then turn around and dropping albums or getting in rap beef and insinuating that he would put somebody down, right? We tend to think that that makes sense, right? Or we tend to think that all that we know about someone like a Bootsy in terms of Marlo Mike and all of his history and what has been alleged to him, he could then turn around and have the fucking nerve to talk to the culture and chastise the culture, and kind of dictate on snitch culture and what's real and what's not, but at the same time upholding the ignorance, making sure that it stays in place, and making sure that that people know that there's some rules to this shit, right? And I say this as somebody who loves the music, right? And to say that I still love the music, that BG and wasn't it my dog? That shit go hard. That shit go hard. But even in that, BG talks about, I did that shit by myself. I ain't take nobody with me, meaning he didn't snitch. Right? But we tend to respect these individuals because they have money. And it's so bad that even when it comes to like holding people accountable, and they start to sip and drink their own Kool-Aid in the sense of thinking that they should not be held accountable, or that the rules and the laws are different for them, because they got money, and that there's some a level of respect you need to have for me because I got money, right? I've seen it like even just like everyday people, right? Like there's people that I don't fuck with. There's a nigga in my city, nah, and there's a bitch in my nah. But when you start talking about accountability, how you see it turn up in everyday life, oh, is it about money? It ain't that serious. We get into the bag. That's all that matters. And blah, 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 blah. All of this shit, right? All of this shit to avoid the conversation about accountability and about how you treat somebody, right? Gets minimized to be talked about the dollar. As if though you've asked them niggas for $1. Right? And so that's why it's extremely important when you know you standing on something, stand on that shit. That's why when I'm on Clubhouse and I see niggas and certain niggas from Boston and a fucking goat, and they always want to talk about how they money, right? And how they get in the bag and they're making all this money. And somehow that's supposed to mean that you should be allowed to talk to people a certain way. That's how that shows up in everyday life, that idolatry. That's how that shows up. That you think you should be able to handle me a certain way because you feel that there's more value placed on you because you are making money. Or you married money. So you think you can then turn around and talk to me however you want and tell me that there's some type of decorum that I should adhere to when addressing your bitch ass. Money dumb. Lames get money every fucking day, B. That don't make you real at all. And I am that nigga that's gonna let you know I don't give a fuck about none of that shit you talking about. If I feel a way about how I'm being treated, don't give a fuck.
This clip of the teacher, this is like a group of second, third graders. They done came up with their own version of Ski Yee, the Sexy Red song. Play the clip.
When you see me, tell you gotta say what's good.
So now that's harmless. She changed all the lyrics to Ski Yee. That's harmless. I want to read to you the lyrics of that Sexy Red song. You got little kids in the room, get them out, or cover their ears. If you see me and you trying to see what's up, Ski Yee. He wanna with me, then I'ma have him stuck, Ski Yee. Bitch looking bad, and got stupid butt, ski ye. Jewelry on your wrist, hold it up, ski ye. When I holler ski ye, that means pull up. Cars 75 and they fast as I'm looking good when I'm hopping out the truck. Where the hood at that get them bucks? Ski ye. Now, a teacher has listened to this song and said, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a song for my little kids to sing at second or third grade class. And we're going to jump around and ski ye. And that's good. And so a teacher thinks that introducing kids to Sexy Red, a woman that walks around half naked, shaking her butt in front of men and women, talking about this. And again, if we did the Pound Town song, it's even worse. But this is what we're doing. This is the clown show that idolatry has normalized. And anybody that complains about, oh, well, you hate black people. You must hate yourself if you don't like Sexy Red. You must hate yourself if you think Dion is doing things that violate your Christian values. How dare you criticize Dion? You must hate black people. No, man, I hate idols that make us abandon our values out of idolatry. Because it has real consequences. And it will have real consequences when second and
I will say I do agree about the teacher. Like, as much as she changed those words around, it is about exposing, right? So, somebody that you're still exposing those kids to Chlamydia Red because they literally know who that song and what that song is based on, right? Depending on who their parents are and what their household on. So that then lets that child knows that you're into that type of music, right? But again, it goes back to professionalism, right? I'm not quite sure why you want the kids to know that you enjoy that music, right? Um, and there's nothing wrong because you're an adult. You can enjoy whatever the fuck you want, but I'm just not quite sure why you want to share that love or that like for that music with children, right? I think that's kind of weird, to be honest with you. I don't want to get with children on that level. Like, especially that age. That age is what that's weird. With that being said, I mean, if you remember the video, she's dressed in a bodycon tight dress, and it's very much not like what we're used to in terms of our teachers showing up looking professional. But that all plays a part in the attitude and what is required of that teacher, right? She thinks this is acceptable, right? That outfit is acceptable. That tight outfit is acceptable at her school, right? So I'm pretty sure she found that this music or remixing it was acceptable, and it's all about what we allow in our environment, right? That shapes and molds our children, right? And it gets so annoying and frustrating because I was in the room today, and they were talking about Tupac and Biggie. I'm sorry, Tupac's killer being captured, whatever, being arrested. And we're not talking about that now, but a lot of the conversation with one of the gentlemen was all blame those Jews, blame the record industry, and all this shit like he's saying, right? And it's sort of like, what Jew, what record industry is in this classroom right now in front of these impressionable children, painting this picture and exposing them to this type of artist? Where's the Jew there? Where's the record industry there, right? And I think where when I come across this individual, and of course I have for a few years now, and it's the same shit. Blame the Jews, blame the feminists, blame everybody except us and for what we allow within our culture. You can be mad at the record industries all you want, and there's some I think I can blame them for certain things, but at the same time, a lot of these artists are catching a wave in their cities. A lot of these artists are getting millions of views on YouTube and have a wave before a record industry or a record label even finds them to sign them, right? So what that means is that there's a community that supports this around him, around the artist, locally, With YouTube, it's globally, right? And they're monetizing and making money off, and they're doing local shows and all this other shit. They're known in their cities. When you see somebody like a King Von that goes from being in jail to being a known rapper, right? He had already built his clout up. He already put his work in on the street. He was already known for what he had did. He was already feared and already got them bodies before a Jew or a regular industry even fucking showed up. So I can't listen to a nigga tell me that it's the record industry when this nigga was putting in work and doing what he did to be known before they even showed up. Come on. And this is the shit that makes me sound, or I fall out with a lot of people, because I refuse to drink their Kool-Aid, the denial Kool-Aid with them. I refuse to do the whole blame everybody outside of our community. I just refuse to do that, right? The record industry is a business. They find what's hot and they put some money behind it to make some money off of it. That's what they do. Now, what they're wrong about is the exploiting it in terms of these lopsided contracts and these 360 contracts, or people being in deals where they're not really benefiting from them. Yeah, they're wrong as fuck for that. But we have to buy the music. We have to support it. We have to bend over and shake our asses to it. We got to do all of that. I'm guilty of that. So I know I play a part in that. Right? But I'm not sitting up here saying that somehow, some way, the white community, like, that shit don't even make any sense. Right? Some of these artists don't even sign to majors anymore because they're able to create a buzz in their city and monetize their shit and make money off of that. Right? But again, all that work, that street work is already laid. That foundation's already there. By the time they get discovered, ain't like people getting discovered and then going out and do. Who's an example of that? That shit don't make no sense.
Third graders have placed Sexy Red on a pedestal and see Sexy Red as an idol worthy of being looked up to. And they're introduced to Sexy Red's highly sexualized music at 6, 7, 8 years old. And you're wondering why our children have all these sexual identity issues? Why little girls keep having babies after babies and don't think about marriage at all? If the Ice Spice woman or whatever she's done videos, I think, with Kim Kardashian's children. We've thrown all values out the window. And we've given everybody this sexual demon, these sexual soul ties that they cannot handle. I had to pick up and leave California to try to combat my sexual lust. And we're giving this to kids? And we think there's no ramifications for it? We think that centering and focusing on all these rappers whose message basically is do anything for money? And hey, let's bring them into the locker room.
Okay, Jason. But blaming California for you being, I think they said he was a sex addict or something, and at one point in his life it really consumed him and stuff like that. But blaming California for that, it's really crazy. So you had to move from a city with beautiful women in it. Is that what we're saying? That seems like a self-control issue more than it is like a California problem. But okay. So where'd you move to? Where's the ugly bitches at?
Let's treat them like the biggest stars and celebrities. Let's ingest the values and let's promote those values to young people in college to, do whatever it takes to get money. That's all that matters. A coach is allowing that and promoting that within his team to be attractive to recruits. And we somehow think, once he gets them there with all that, with the weed and the rappers and all that, then he's going to put some Christianity into them and it's all going to work out. This is insanity. And idolatry promotes insanity. When you put yourself or someone else on a pedestal and worship them and defend them the way.
I will say I do, as much as I hate when he talks about Dion, because y'all know how much I fuck with Deion Sanders a lot, y'all. I fuck with him a lot. Um, I do think he makes a great point in terms of the artists that Dion allows to come around his team, because one, you do say you are a Christian man, and you too are trying to show these young men a different way that is not street laced violence and that type of imaging. So I do think you have to be more careful about what you allow in this environment if you're trying to say, hey, there's a different way, and going with me, meaning Dion, prime time, the prime time way didn't have to go that way. It didn't have to be in these streets killing and shooting and being involved in all types of stuff like that. Then I don't think you then turn around and surround your team with that, right? So when you have someone like a Key Glock and known in people's Memphis, Tennessee, you have someone like that, or an NBA young boy, and some of you guys don't do your due diligence, don't do your work to try to find out that there's usually a lot going on in their respective cities, that they are usually a part of, or their crew is usually a part of, and causing chaos in their cities and shit like that. You don't turn around and have that around the young men that you're trying to say, fuck all of that. That's not what you got to do to get ahead. So
Way you should be worshiping and defending God, that's a recipe for disaster. And we've done it. We've created a clown show and a clown culture. And everybody's mad at me because I'm objecting to it. And then what you do is, and I'm sure it's in the chat, I'm sure it's in the comment, what about Trump? We ain't talking about Trump. We're talking about us. Because Trump ain't being centered in front of our kids. And I'm not here right at this moment to talk about the Trump cult and the people that look up to Trump. That's not what this is about. Because as best I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, whatever's going on with the Trump deal, does it have anything to do with sexualizing kids? And I'm asking that sincerely, because maybe I'm missing it. Because I don't pay that super close attention to politics. But this whole little mentality of like, hey, ignore our problems because across the street they got a problem with Trump. That's a stupid mentality. Jason, don't lose any weight. Trump's overweight too. That's a retarded person's mentality.
facts.
And it's based in racial idolatry. Well, until white people clean up whatever problems they got, I don't have to address mine. And Jason, you shouldn't talk about it. Stupid. And the whole myth of like, oh, you're just trying to do shows that cater to a specific demographic. Yes, I am. The demographic I'm trying to appeal to and trying to wake up and that I'm concerned about is the demographic of people who are throwing away their religious faith and religious values to chase materialism, to chase popularity, to chase sexual perversion. The population, and this cuts across all racial demographics. But the people that are throwing away the values that lead to success because of their idolatry, that's the demographic I'm trying to appeal to. None of my message is about popularity. If I were interested in popularity and money, I would still be at ESPN or Fox Sports. This is so crystal clear. And that's why when y'all make that argument, I'm like, are you retarded? Do you know what I've done? Do you know what I walked away from? Do you know where the checks actually come from and who gets paid? You sound like an idiot. Because I'm going to walk you through here next where the checks actually come from and who actually gets the checks. Travis Kelce's getting the bag right now because he threw away all of his values. He's willing to support the vaccine. He's willing to support whatever it is they tell him to support to get the bag. He just jumped on board with Bud Light to get the bag. I mean, seriously, do you know how stupid you sound? How removed from reality you sound? The bag goes to the people willing to sell out all of their values to promote Bud Light and the vaccine. I'm going to tie it all together. We're going to talk about the killer clowns. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Before I go.
All right, so yeah, I wanted to bring that to you guys. I thought it was really interesting. I was like, oh damn, Jason didn't figure out or found a chlamydia red. And also, I thought it was just another example because y'all know I have shared with you guys I'm a social conservative, and so I'm very proud of that. That's something I feel like it throws a lot of black people off because I think they just think that I'm some type of Republican or I've voted Republican and all that other stuff, and it's really not. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that when it comes to certain views and the views that were expressed by Jason Whitlock are very similar to some of the views that I express in terms of just like the behavior and the degeneracy and calling it out within our community and saying that that's not blackness to me. And you can't take my black card or make me feel any type of way because I won't, I won't fall in line to believe some of the bullshit that y'all believe, right? Or uphold some of the bullshit that goes on within our culture, right? It doesn't make me any less black, right? And I truly push back that you guys are the black ones. I promise you, I do. I refuse to let my group of people and its representation be that it's of ignorance. It's of just, idolatry, right? Throw a nigga $1, they do the most, right? I refuse to let that be the narrative that's going to go out for a whole group of people. So, when I talk about being social conservative, these are those examples of that, right? I push back and I go against the popular accepted beliefs amongst a large amount of the community in certain sectors, right? Certain sections, right? So a lot of times I will be that person that stands out as the oddball. Is something wrong with her? Is she off? What's wrong with her? Why is she so different? And it's usually because I just won't shut my mouth or go along to get along and not stand on what I believe. And I don't care if it's me versus a million people, y'all. I'm a stand. Right? I'm going to stand on what I believe in, right? And I'm fearless in that type of way, and I will always continue. I'm going to always continue to stand for the things that I believe in. And you don't have to agree, and that's the great thing about this social media and just the world in general. We can agree to disagree. I'm not imposing my beliefs on anybody, but what I will tell you, I've been hung out with slurs, whores, and all types of bitches and shit like that. I stay me, no matter who I'm around. I don't follow behind nobody. I don't do what the next person does. If you were smoking crack in front of me, you just gonna be high and safe because I ain't gonna let that happen to you. But I don't feel the need to jump on anybody's fucking bandwagon to be down. I'm not a trying to be down ass nigga in that type of way. So that's why I tell people all the time, you sure I was trying to sit with you? You sure I was trying to be down with you? What you see me do that's similar to what you do, right? A lot of times people feel intimidated and bothered by my presence. It's not because I impose. It's not because I try to tell you what to do, because that's not my ministry. I'm not a Yana. I ain't trying to fix shit. I'm going to drop some gems. If you pick it up and if you can run with it, you get something from it, I'm happy. But I'm not that type of person in real fucking life, right? But what I do find is that when you don't do what other people do, or you don't move like other people do in terms of their sin and the crap that they stand for, they feel uncomfortable in your presence because you make them know, or you set a bar that they know that they're not reaching, or they have a problem and just feel inferior because you don't have to behave like that to get by, to be accepted, to be heard. All right? All right, y'all know how we do it here. We keep it bougie as F, posh as F, black as F. We keep being blessed as F, y'all. And y'all be black, y'all. I am out. Kiss, 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 kiss. Bye.